Life hit you hard before you even had a chance to fight. Before you could stand on your own, the weight of the world pressed down, suffocating, unrelenting. You never asked for this war. You never volunteered to carry the burden of betrayal, of pain, of being cast aside like you never mattered. But here you are, bruised and weary, caught in a storm that never gave you time to prepare. The first betrayals, they cut deep, deeper than any physical wound. The people you trusted, the ones who swore they would stand by you, became the architects of your suffering. A friend who turned into a stranger, a family member whose love felt like a blade against your back, a world that seemed to spit on your existence rather than embrace it. The first time it happened, you told yourself it was a mistake. The second time, you questioned yourself. By the third time, you started believing the whispers. Maybe they were right. Maybe you weren't strong enough. The thought seeped into your bones like poison, wrapping around your soul and squeezing until the fire inside you flickered. You tried to ignore it, but the voices grew louder, echoing in your mind. You're not good enough. You'll never be enough. You were never meant to rise. It didn't come all at once. No, it was slow, methodical, like water carving its way through stone, reshaping you, weakening you, making you doubt the very essence of who you were. The first losses followed soon after. Opportunities that slipped through your fingers, doors that were slammed in your face before you even had the chance to knock. People who left without warning, without explanation. Every time you tried to build, something came along to destroy it. Every time you tried to move forward, something pulled you back. It felt like the universe itself had conspired against you, as if you were born to be crushed beneath the weight of life. And then came the scars. Some were visible, the cuts, the bruises, the marks that told stories of battles fought. But the worst ones, the ones no one saw, those were the scars etched into your soul. The nights spent staring at the ceiling, wondering why nothing ever changed. The mornings where getting out of bed felt like a battle you were destined to lose. The suffocating feeling of isolation, even in a room full of people. They told you to be strong. But what does that even mean when strength feels like a distant memory? When every breath is a reminder that you're still fighting a war that never seems to end? They told you to keep going. But where exactly? When every road leads to another dead end, another disappointment, another reason to give up. The world didn't hand you a fair fight. It didn't give you time to train, to learn, to prepare. It just threw you in the ring and watched as life swung at you with everything it had. And for a while, you let it. You absorbed the punches, hoping that maybe, just maybe, if you took enough pain, it would stop. That if you endured enough suffering, life would finally take mercy on you. But mercy never came. The hits kept coming. The betrayals, the losses, the nights spent drowning in silence, searching for a reason to believe, searching for proof that you weren't as weak as they made you feel. That somewhere, buried beneath the pain, was someone worth fighting for. They isolated you, cornered you, made sure you had no one to lean on. Every time you tried to stand, they found a way to knock you back down. Not because you were weak, but because they feared what you could become. They saw something in you, something they didn't want to admit. A fire, a potential, a power that, if unleashed, would make them irrelevant. And so they did everything in their power to keep you small, to keep you doubting yourself, to keep you broken. It started subtly, didn't it? The small comments, the offhanded remarks designed to chip away at your confidence. You're not good enough. You'll never make it. People like you don't succeed. And at first, you brushed it off. You told yourself it didn't matter, that their words had no power over you. But over time, those words found cracks in your armor. They seeped in, poisoning your thoughts, turning your own mind against you. And when words weren't enough, they found new ways to break you. They excluded you, left you out, made sure you always felt like an outsider. When you reached for support, you found nothing but empty air. When you needed a friend, all you got were cold shoulders. They wanted you alone because alone, You were easier to control. They mocked your dreams, laughed at your ambitions. You really think you can do that? People like you don't make it. Just give up now. It wasn't just doubt they planted. It was fear. Fear of failure, fear of humiliation, fear of proving them right. And so piece by piece, you started to shrink. You started to silence yourself, to second-guess every move, to hold back when you should have surged forward. But the truth is, they never doubted you. Not really. If they did, they wouldn't have wasted their energy trying to break you. They wouldn't have gone out of their way to make sure you stayed down. No, deep down, they knew exactly what you were capable of, and that terrified them. So they tried to bury you. They tried to make you believe you were nothing, that you would never rise. Stay small, they whispered. Stay broken. But what they didn't realize is that all they were doing was fueling the storm inside you. Every loss felt like proof that maybe they were right. Maybe you weren't strong enough. Maybe you weren't meant to rise. Every failure, every rejection, every door slammed in your face echoed their words in your mind. It didn't matter how hard you tried. Life always seemed to have a way of pulling you back down, and after a while, you started to believe it. The sleepless nights became routine, lying in the darkness, staring at the ceiling, replaying every mistake, every misstep. The weight of it all pressed down on your chest, making it hard to breathe, making it impossible to escape the thoughts that whispered, "Why even try?" You carried your doubts like a chain wrapped around your soul, dragging them with you everywhere, feeling their pull with every step. The world didn't see the quiet breakdowns, the moments when you locked yourself away because the exhaustion was too much, the days when you forced a smile but felt like a hollow shell, the nights when the silence became deafening, when you begged for a sign, any sign, that you weren't wasting your time, that you weren't destined to stay broken forever. But the worst part was the question that refused to leave your mind. Asterisk. Am I even meant to rise? Was all this suffering just a sign that you were never supposed to make it? That you were foolish for believing you could be more? The thought weighed heavier than any wound, any betrayal, any loss. Because once that doubt took root, once it started to bloom inside you, it became harder and harder to see the light. And so, you stood at a crossroads, trapped between the world's expectations and the fire still burning, however faint, inside you. Part of you wanted to give in, to let the weight of defeat pull you under. But another part wasn't ready to die just yet. There were moments when even hope felt like a lie, when the idea of a better future seemed like a cruel joke played on those foolish enough to believe. You weren't just struggling, you were drowning, sinking deeper into the darkness with every breath. No matter how hard you fought, the weight of it all kept dragging you under. Abandonment became your reality. The people you thought would stay, they left. The ones who promised to be there, nowhere to be found. The ones who said they believed in you, their silence spoke louder than words. You learned the hard way that in your darkest moment, you were truly alone. Failure wasn't just a possibility, it became a pattern. Every effort ended in disappointment. Every risk felt like a mistake. Every time you built something, it crumbled before your eyes. It was as if life itself was mocking you, reminding you that no matter how much you tried, you would never be enough. And after a while, you stopped expecting anything different. The pain cut deeper than anything physical ever could. It was the kind of pain that couldn't be seen, the kind that lived inside you, gnawing at your soul, the kind that made you question everything, your worth, your purpose, your very existence. It wasn't just sadness, it was emptiness, a hollow, aching void where hope used to live. And then came that asterisk moment. The moment when you almost gave in, when the exhaustion, the loneliness, the weight of it all became too much, when the idea of letting go felt easier than holding on, when you stood on the edge, staring into the abyss, wondering if it would be easier to fall than to keep fighting. That was the moment that nearly broke you. The moment when everything inside you screamed, "Just stop, just let go." And for a terrifying second, you almost listened, you almost surrendered, you almost let the darkness win. But something deep inside held on. A whisper, a flicker, a tiny ember buried beneath the rubble of your pain. It wasn't loud, it wasn't strong, but it was there. And that was enough. Enough to keep you breathing, enough to keep you standing, even when your knees shook. Enough to remind you that maybe, just maybe, this wasn't the end. For a long time, you believed their words. You carried their doubts like chain, dragging them with you everywhere. But then in the quiet, in the stillness of your deepest pain, a thought broke through the darkness. Asterisk. What if I'm not as weak as they say? It wasn't loud. It wasn't defiant. It was just a whisper. But it was enough to make you hesitate. You had been through hell. You had been abandoned, betrayed, knocked down more times than you could count. And yet, you were still here. Bruised, yes. Scarred, absolutely. But broken? Maybe not. Because if you were truly broken, if you were truly weak, wouldn't you have given up by now? Wouldn't you have stayed down the last time life crushed you? A voice inside, one you hadn't heard in a long time, spoke again. Asterisk. You are still standing. The world threw everything at you, and yet you refused to disappear. You survived the pain, the losses, the nights when you thought you wouldn't make it. And maybe, just maybe, that meant you were stronger than you had ever realized. Something shifted. A spark. A flicker of something unfamiliar but powerful. Asterisk. Resistance. Asterisk. For the first time in what felt like forever, you questioned the story they wrote for you. The one that painted you as weak, as unworthy, as destined to fail. What if they were wrong? What if you weren't meant to stay small, stay silent, stay broken? It wasn't a grand moment of transformation. It wasn't a sudden rise from the ashes, but it was something. A spark, a decision, a whisper of defiance against the voices that told you to quit. You didn't have all the answers. You didn't know what came next. But for the first time, you weren't ready to surrender. You weren't ready to let them win. Because deep down, beneath the pain and the scars, you felt it. The first pulse of something unbreakable. Pain didn't destroy you. It shaped you. It wasn't just suffering, it was instruction. A brutal, unforgiving teacher that stripped away every illusion and forced you to see yourself for who you truly were. Every time you were knocked down, every time the world pushed you to the edge, pain was there, whispering lessons you couldn't learn any other way. The scars you carried weren't just wounds, they were proof. Proof that you endured. Proof that you survived what was meant to break you. Each one told a story of a battle fought, of a moment when you could have given up, but didn't. They weren't marks of weakness. They were symbols of resilience. Loss didn't destroy you. It strengthened you. Every betrayal, every rejection, every failure became a lesson in endurance. You learned who was truly in your corner and who never belonged there to begin with. You learned that sometimes the things you lose are the things that were holding you back. You learned that every setback was sharpening you, making you tougher, preparing you for something greater. You didn't break, you adapted. You stopped waiting for the world to be fair, stopped hoping for kindness from those who had none to give. Instead, you learned how to stand on your own, how to fight back, how to turn pain into power. You took the suffering, the loneliness, the nights of doubt, and you forged them into something unshakable. And now, you see it. The pain wasn't punishment. It was preparation. It wasn't there to weaken you. It was there to build you into something stronger than you ever thought possible. And now, because of everything you've endured, you are no longer the person they tried to break. You are something else entirely, something they never saw coming, something unbreakable. No more apologies, no more waiting for permission to rise. You spent too long trapped in their expectations, bound by their opinions, waiting for the world to give you a chance. But now you see the truth. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you the life you deserve. If you want it, You have to take it. Every insult, every betrayal, every moment of doubt. They tried to use them as weapons against you. But instead of cutting you down, they became the fire that forged you. You no longer flinch at their words. You no longer shrink under the weight of their judgment. You take everything they threw at you, all the pain, all the rejection, all the nights you spent suffering in silence, and you shape it into armor. You stop fearing pain. You stop resisting it. Instead, you welcome it. You understand now that pain isn't your enemy. It's your greatest ally. It no longer weakens you. It strengthens you. You no longer cower in its presence. You stand tall and face it head on, because you've realized something they never wanted you to know. The more pain you endure, the stronger you become. They tried to break you, but all they did was awaken something inside you, something unstoppable. The moment you stopped fearing pain was the moment you became dangerous, because now there is nothing they can do to control you, nothing they can take from you that you haven't already learned to survive, nothing they can say that will shake the foundation you've built from your own suffering. You are no longer a victim, no longer a prisoner of the past. You have turned your pain into power, your weakness into strength, your scars into weapons, and now you are ready to rise, ready to fight, ready to show them that the person they tried to destroy is gone, and in their place stands someone they can never break. The greatest enemy was never them, not the doubters, not the ones who left, not even the ones who tried to tear you down. The real war was always inside you. It was the voice in your head, the one that whispered when no one else was around, the one that convinced you to believe every lie they told. You're not enough. You'll never make it. You should just give up. That voice was the cruelest of them all, because it didn't come from the outside. It came from within. It took their words and made them your own. It made you question yourself. It made you doubt your worth. It made you sabotage your own potential before the world even had a chance to. But now, you see it for what it is. A parasite, a liar, a shadow of every insecurity they planted in you. And for the first time, you refuse to listen. You confront it. You look it in the eye and challenge everything it ever told you. Who says you're not enough? Who says you can't rise? Who says you're destined to fail? That voice, it was never yours. It was theirs. And now, you silence it. Not with fear, not with hesitation, but with absolute certainty. Because you finally understand. Every time that voice told you to stop, it was because you were getting closer to something powerful. Every time it told you to quit, it was because you were stepping into your strength. So you shut it down. You drown it out with truth, with the proof of your survival, with the reality of your resilience. And in that moment, the chains that held you back, the ones made of doubt, fear, and hesitation, shatter. For the first time, the only voice that remains is yours. And it no longer speaks of weakness. It no longer echoes their lies. It only speaks one truth. You are unbreakable. You're no longer running from the struggle. You're running toward it. The fear that once held you back is gone. The hesitation that once whispered doubt in your ear has been silent. Now, there is only forward. Only the fire that burns in your chest, a fire that refuses to be put out. You don't flinch when the storm comes. You don't step back when the weight of life presses down. You step into it, embrace it, let it fuel you. Pain is no longer something you avoid. It's something you wield. Every hardship, every battle, every moment that once broke you has now become the very thing that drives you. They wanted you weak. They wanted you afraid. But instead, they forged something they never saw coming. A warrior, a force that doesn't retreat, that doesn't bow, that doesn't surrender. The fight doesn't intimidate you anymore. It excites you, because you know now, every struggle is another chance to prove you can't be broken. The fire in your eyes is undeniable. The hunger in your soul is relentless. You don't wait for opportunity. You don't hope for change. You create it. You tear down the walls they built to keep you small. You rewrite the story they tried to force upon you. This is the moment The moment you decide, there is no going back. No more waiting. No more wondering if you're strong enough. You already know the answer. You have faced the worst and survived. You have lost everything and rebuilt yourself from the ashes. This is the moment you choose to be unstoppable. The moment you look at the world, not with fear, but with defiance, because they tried to break you, and all they did was set fire to something that cannot be destroyed. You are the storm. You are the fire, and you will never be broken again. The people who doubted you, the ones who mocked you, dismissed you, and left you behind, they won't recognize you now. They thought they knew who you were, fragile, weak, destined to stay in the shadows. But they were wrong. That version of you no longer exists. You don't need their validation. You don't need their approval. Once you might have craved it, waiting for their recognition, hoping for their acceptance. But now, you see the truth. Their opinions were never the measure of your worth. Their expectations were never the boundaries of your potential. You are no longer chasing their acknowledgement. You are here for something greater. You are here to prove something to yourself. Not to them, not to the world, but to the only person who truly matters. The person who survived the darkest nights. The person who fought battles no one saw. The person who refused to stay broken. That person, the unbreakable force you have become, deserves to see just how far they can go. They will know your name, not because you seek revenge, not because you need their recognition, but because your success will be undeniable. Because the fire inside you refuses to be ignored. Because the world cannot overlook someone who refuses to be defeated. You walk forward now, no longer burdened by the past, no longer haunted by doubt. You carry only one thing, the relentless determination to rise higher than anyone ever thought possible. And when they see you, when they realize that the person they underestimated has become unstoppable, they will have no choice but to remember your name. You don't bend anymore. You don't break. The weight they once used to crush you now fuels your strength. The storms they sent to drown you only made you rise higher. Every test, every hardship, every betrayal, you absorbed them all, and instead of shattering, you transformed. They see it in your eyes now. You are unshaken. The fear is gone. The doubt has vanished. There is only certainty, an unrelenting, undeniable force that refuses to yield. They used to look at you with mockery, with dismissal, as if you were insignificant. But now they look at you with something else, something they never expected. Asterisk, asterisk, fear dot, asterisk, asterisk, because they know you've become something they can't control, something they can't break. You don't play small anymore. You don't shrink to make them comfortable. You don't hold back to fit into their expectation. That version of you, the one who hesitated, the one who questioned, the one who asked for permission, is gone. You move through the world like a storm, powerful, undeniable, unstoppable. You don't wait for doors to open. You tear them off the hinges. You don't wait for chances. You create them. The fire inside you is no longer a flicker. It is a raging force that consumes every limitation in its path. You are done apologizing for your strength, done explaining your hunger, done pretending to be anything less than what you were born to be. The world will either stand with you or get out of your way, because there is no stopping you now. You asterisk, asterisk, are asterisk, asterisk, the storm. They used to laugh. They used to whisper behind your back, smirking as they counted you out. Every failure, every stumble, they fed off it, convinced that you would never rise. They spoke with certainty, as if your destiny had already been written, as if your struggle would never lead to victory. But now they watch in silence. Their laughter has faded, replaced by something else, shock, regret, even fear, because they see what you have become. They see the fire in your eyes, the strength in your stride. You are no longer the person they once dismissed. You have risen beyond their reach, and they know it. The ones who left, the ones who turned their backs when you needed them most. They wish they had stayed. They wish they had believed in you, but they didn't. They walked away, convinced you were finished. Now they look at you and realize their mistake. You owe them nothing, not a second glance, not an explanation, not even resentment. They made their choice, and now they must live with it. Because you are beyond needing them. You are beyond seeking their approval, their presence, their validation. You rise, and they feel the weight of what they lost. They see the greatness they once overlooked. They see the strength they once doubted, and there is nothing they can do about it, because the tables have turned, the power has shifted, and you are asterisk, unstoppable dot asterisk, asterisk. You let go of the past, the weight that once clung to you, the burdens of betrayal, rejection, and doubt. They no longer have a hold on you. You have carried them long enough. You have bled for them, suffered under their weight. But now you release them. You let go of the pain, not because it didn't shape you, not because it didn't make you stronger, but because it no longer serves you. Pain was your teacher, but it is not your identity. You have learned its lessons. You have transformed because of it. Now you step forward, not as a prisoner of the past, but as a force unleashed. You don't carry their opinions, their judgments, their doubts. Once you let them define you. Once their words felt like chains, binding you to their version of who you were supposed to be. But not anymore. Their expectations no longer shape your path. Their voices no longer echo in your mind. You are free. Free from the limitations they tried to place on you. Free from the guilt, the fear, the hesitation. Free to move, to rise, to become everything they swore you could never be. This is your moment. The moment you break every chain that has ever held you back. The moment you step into your full power, unshackled, unstoppable. You're not bound by their rules. You're not contained by their limits. You are limitless. You are free, and there is nothing left to hold you down. You are not the person they left behind. That version of you, the one who doubted, who hesitated, who questioned their own worth, no longer exists. They walked away thinking you would stay broken, thinking you would never rise. But they were wrong. You are stronger than the storm. The winds that once threatened to tear you apart only made you more unshakable. The waves that once tried to drown you only taught you how to swim deeper, fight harder, and emerge even more powerful. You have faced the chaos, the destruction, the pain, and instead of falling, you became something greater. They see the fire in your eyes now, and they fear it. It's not just strength they see, it's something more. It's the unbreakable will of someone who has been to the depths and refused to stay there. It's the burning intensity of someone who has nothing left to lose. An asterisk, everything asterisk to prove. This fire inside you. It is no longer a flicker, no longer a spark waiting for permission to ignite. It is an inferno. It is a force that consumes doubt, hesitation, and weakness. It is what separates you from those who remain trapped in their own fears. They wanted you to stay small. They wanted you to remain afraid. But now, they asterisk are the ones afraid. Because they know nothing can put out the fire inside you now. Nothing can stop what you are about to become. You weren't supposed to win. They counted you out before the battle even began. They saw your struggles, your pain, your lowest moments, and they were sure you would never rise from them. They spoke your failure into existence, convinced that you would never defy their expectation. Yet here you are, stronger, greater, unstoppable. Every scar they thought would break you has become a mark of resilience. Every betrayal that was meant to shatter you has only made you wiser. Every time they thought they had buried you, you were simply preparing to rise again. You are their reckoning, not because you seek vengeance, not because you need their recognition, but because your success is undeniable. The power you hold now is something they never saw coming. They thought they had stripped you of everything, but what they didn't realize is that they were forging you into something they could never control. They can no longer ignore you. They can no longer dismiss you. The very people who once mocked your struggle now stand in awe of your strength. The ones who doubted your rise now watch in stunned silence as you surpass everything they thought was impossible. This is your moment, the moment they realize the mistake they made, the moment they understand that nothing they did could break you. You have become something beyond their comprehension, an unstoppable force, a living testament to resilience, the power they never saw coming. Your story is proof that the unbreakable exist, that no amount of pain, betrayal, or doubt can destroy the soul that refuses to surrender. You have walked through fire, endured storms meant to wash you away, and risen from depths that others never return from. And yet here you stand, unshaken, undefeated, undeniable. You are the living reminder that no one decides your fate but you. They tried to write your ending, tried to script your downfall, but you tore those pages apart and rewrote your own destiny. Every time they said, "You can't," you proved that you could. Every time they whispered, "You won't," you made sure that you did. They do not control your path. They never did. Your resilience is legendary. Long after this moment, long after the voices of doubt have faded into nothingness, your name will remain. Not as a victim, not as someone who was broken and forgotten, but as the one who refused to bow, the one who stood when others fell, the one who became unstoppable when the world tried to crush them. They will speak your name with reverence, not because you seek their recognition, but because your story cannot be ignored. Your name will not be remembered for weakness. It will not be remembered for failure. It will be remembered for defiance, for power, for the unbreakable force that you have become. They tried to break you. They threw everything they had at you: doubt, betrayal, failure, pain. They wanted to see you shattered, crawling, begging for relief. But you took every hit, every wound, every scar, and turned them into power. They thought they were destroying you, but all they did was awaken something greater. You are a force, a storm, a legend. You no longer hesitate. You no longer seek permission. You move with the power of someone who has faced the worst and refused to fall. You have become the thing they feared most, someone who cannot be controlled, someone who cannot be silenced, someone who cannot be broken. And nothing will ever stop you again. The battles you fought, they only made you stronger. The pain you've endured, it has forged you into something unstoppable. There is no going back. There is no more doubt. The world will know your name, not because you demand it, but because your presence commands it. This is your final war cry, the declaration of who you are, the proof that you have risen. You are unbreakable. And no one will ever take that from you again. This is it, the final moment, the final breath before the world understands who you truly are. They tried to bury you. They tried to break you. They tried to convince you that you were nothing, but you refused to stay down. You refused to be erased. And now you stand, not just as a survivor, not just as someone who endured, but as a force that cannot be destroyed. You are unbreakable, not because you never felt pain, but because pain never defeated you. Not because you never fell, but because every fall only made you stronger. Not because life was easy, but because you made the impossible your reality. This is your final war cry. This is the moment you look into the mirror, into the eyes of the world, and declare the truth they tried to hide from you. I am unbreakable. Say it, feel it. Own it. Because you are, because you always were, because nothing will ever break you again. And as the world watches, as the silence lingers, as the weight of your words settles deep into their souls, one thing becomes undeniable. The unbreakable exist. And you, you are one of them.